Okay, good morning everyone. Let's continue our class. And today we are going to look at the medieval Japan. In medieval Japan, as we have discussed before, your textbook will say that the shogunate started off during Heian. But if you go deeper into Japanese history, no. The shogunate only began during the Kamakura Bakufu. So the Kamakura Bakufu or the Kamakura shogunate started in the 12th century. So this period coincides with the Yuan dynasty in China. So you have the brothers Minamoto Yoshisune and Minamoto Yoritomo. They established the first shogun, the military shogunate at Kamakura. Okay, this Kamakura shogunate brought a period of 150 years of relatively peace to Japan. So, what you have during the Kamakura period is the shift from the chrysanthemum. The chrysanthemum will represent the lay administrator that will represent the imperial family to the sword. The sword here will represent the military samurai class, or here the shogunate. The shogunate. So this is basically the true beginnings of the shogunate, not like in the textbook where they say the shogunate began in the Heian. Okay. Now, in terms of religion, Kamakura is also a period of Buddhism in Japan, but there is a shift of Buddhism in Heian and Nara. The Buddhism is known as Kyobukyo. If you look at the kanji, it is Jiu Fo Jiao, which means old Buddhism to new Buddhism, which is known as Shinbukyo, or in the kanji here, you can read it as Sin Fo Jiao. Okay, so in Kamakura Bakufu, this is in Kamakura shogunate, the form of Buddhism have also changed. Okay, in the past, you see that in Heian and in Nara, they will try to adopt whatever that is in Tang Dynasty, copy that Buddhism and bring it to Japan. But during the Kamakura, okay, and the subsequent shogunates, is that there is a very distinctive style of Japanese Buddhism. Okay, this temple, this is the Kamakura Zaibotsu temple. It's a Jodo temple built in 1250. Okay, the statue of the Kamakura Buddha. Okay, this is bronze. Okay, this bronze Buddha statue is a very famous Buddha statue in the world today. Even my house have a very small image of the Kamakura Buddha. I also do not know how the Kamakura Buddha appeared in my house. Okay, so the Kamakura Buddha is a very famous Jodo Buddhist temple. Okay, but it represents a new form of Buddhism in Japan. Now, let's go. As I said to you earlier, the Kamakura Bakufu and the Kamakura shogunate coincides with the Yuan dynasty. And the Yuan dynasty, they were known as the biggest land empire in the world. So, for example, Kublai Khan, Chinggis Khan, they wanted to conquer the world. And they also wanted to conquer Japan. But the Mongols were very good when it comes to conquering the world on horseback. But as an island, the Mongols had to use ships to conquer Japan. And the sea invasion was a failure. Okay, the Mongols had tried to invade Japan twice in 1274 and 1281. They also tried to attack Java. And every time you use a maritime invasion on countries outside of China, the Mongols failed. Okay, so the Mongols have tried in their maritime expansion to go to Japan and to go down to Southeast Asia. On both occasions, on the many occasions, they all failed. Okay, so much so that there is this idea that the Mongol invasion of Japan allowed Japan for the first time to see itself as a nation. So much of myths have been built into Japanese history. Okay, for example, this myth of the kamikaze, the divine wind, that led to the failure of the Yuan invasion. The myth of the kamikaze is the form of a typhoon sent by Amaterasu to destroy the Mongol fleet in 1274. Let's watch this video clip. So what we can see here is the myth of the divine wind that came to help the Japanese and in their encounter with the Mongolians. So let's see and continue and see whether that's the myth of the divine wind, the kamikaze, is written into Japanese national history. In Japan, the identity of the nation, when we look at Japan as a nation, you can attribute it to this single event in 1274. The second time, in the 20th century, the idea of the divine wind is used again, and this time is the kamikaze, which is the divine wind of the emperor to save the Japanese Empire at the end of World War II. So the divine wind in World War II was in 1945, where the Japanese pilots, their duty is to fly the planes and slam into all the ships, the warships, and the aircraft carriers that come towards Japan at the end of World War II. Okay, now let's go to the next part. the Muromachi and the Ashikagas. Okay, the Ashikagas or the Muromachi, they are the same. Okay, you can either call it the Muromachi, which is the district of Kyoto and the residence of the Ashikaga family. So in certain books, this is known as the Ashikaga shogunate or known as the Muromachi shogunate. So it's actually the same. And basically, the Ashikaga established themselves as the new shoguns of Japan by the 1330s. The Ashikagas ruled from Kyoto, and they was an extended of an extended daimyo noble. Some were powerful, some were weaker. So, in the end of the Muromachi, in the end of the Muromachi era, is Japan will descend into a period of disintegration. There will be a period of long wars between the nobles and the feudal groups and the shogun. And this period until the 1500s will be a period of no central authority, no complete control over Japan, and many different small principalities of Japan. To see the reunification of Japan, we will have to wait until history 102. Okay, now even in the period of Japanese so-called period of disunity, you have the idea of Japanese culture developing. For example, the art of tea drinking, the example of ikebana, of how to arrange flowers. Okay, we'll stop first and then we'll come back.